We're here today on RealAgriculture.com with Mr. Alex Atamanenko. He is based out of BC Interior. Welcome today.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to talk about the private members bill that you've introduced, Bill C-474. Could you tell us a little bit about that bill?
Well, the bill basically calls for an amendment to the Seed Regulations Act to require that an analysis of potential harm to export markets be conducted before the sale of any new genetically engineering seed is permitted. What that means is that in addition to all the other testing that's done, before, if there's a new potential genetically modified seed, that we should then make sure that there's a market for it rather than releasing it into the environment.
Okay, so and how would we, if implemented, how would we do that evaluation?
Well, I'll give you an example of what Argentina does. Okay, they do their market assessment after the environmental and feed safety assessment. Okay, it's carried out by their Directorate of Agri-Markets, Ministry of Agriculture. It's based on information presented by the company, that is the potential benefits of the event and its current regulatory status globally, particularly in the main importer countries, and other data that the Directorate requests. As a final step, when the ministry organizes a meeting with all these stakeholders to have their opinions on the potential impacts of the event on the trade chains and markets. And stakeholders include growers associations, food industry, grain and oil industry, and exporters. The Directorate hears all the views, prepares a report for the Minister of Agriculture with recommendations, or not, to approve the biotech event. And this takes 1 or 2 months. So that's kind of how they do it there.
Okay, that was my next question, is how long does that, in Argentina, how long does that review take?
Yeah, according to the information I have in front of me, 1 to 2 months.
Okay. And so has Argentina seen success? How long has that been implemented there?
I'm not sure. I think, 5 or 10 years or so. You'd have to double check on that one.
Yeah. So are you? Let's jump back to Canada here in regards to the bill. So if implemented, where would the market impact study be done? Would it be done post variety registration or before variety registration, or when would this happen?
Well, would be my intention and my hope that it would be done before anything else happens, because it's no sense in going through all of the process and all the loops and hoops if there's not going to be a potential market. So ideally, it would be done before registration. However, we have a case where we have alfalfa already ready to be, released. It's been approved by Health Canada. Somewhere there has to be this kind of assessment done to the impact on markets for our farmers.
Right. So in the case of Canada has been, in terms of variety registration, Canada has been very known for science-based regulatory system. And this kind of goes, this takes into account, socioeconomic sort of criteria. Why would we make that? In your mind, why would we make that step when we're known for such a science-based system already?
Well, other countries may have other criteria for their science-based system. We can have the best science in the world and yet not have any market for our seed or our product once it's released in the environment. It just seems logical that when you start any kind of a business, you want to make sure you have a market for it.
So do you think the industry, what their comment would be right away, and this is really good, is that they're already doing that. What do you say to that?
Well, they are doing it in the canola industry. I believe soy has a voluntary type of look at markets. However, I just want to mention that we had 3 witnesses at committee this week. From the Manitoba Forage Seed Association, Kurt Schmann from the Imperial Seeds, Manitoba Forage Council, Jim Lintott, and Calvin Enarson, who's with the Forage Seed Association. They said they need this bill. There's nothing in place now to to protect them if Monsanto releases GE alfalfa into the environment.
Should this bill be more targeted towards the issues around alfalfa and not taking into consideration, all of the other biotech crops? Because it sounds like it's really about alfalfa.
I think if you have this, it doesn't matter which biotech crop it is. If you release something new, you should know if there's a market for it. Practically speaking, it should not probably affect any new varieties of canola or soya, where we already have markets for them. But practically speaking, it could affect wheat, and it certainly, we've been told, will affect alfalfa, and we can't allow that to happen.
Right. Well, I've seen, I'm not sure if they were direct quotes, but different articles written about the bill where the issue around triffid flax is brought up.
That's right.
Where are the flax growers on this? Are they supporting the bill?
Officially, I believe their association is not. However, we've heard from a number of flax farmers who grow flax that support it. And I was just looking at an article in the Western Producer, which appeared lately, and they have concerns with contamination, but at the same time, some folks aren't sure if they want to support this bill. My answer there is that if we need something like this to protect this kind of a disaster from happening in the future.
Okay. So, and just to sort of drop down from that 100,000 foot level, I would like to hear from you. Maybe I've already asked the question, but I'll maybe ask it again to get a little more detail. Is one, what are we trying to protect people from? And two, how are we going to do that? Because the way I did some research on the internet, and one of the things I saw is that the bill is really kind of like one sentence. And so I just wanted some more details on, which export markets are we going to talk to and those kinds of things. So what are we trying to protect the stakeholders from?
Well, it's pretty well, everybody's pretty well in agreement. The contamination of some kind will take place if you introduce a GE variety. Although there are some of the companies are saying that this isn't, we can contain it, and there's ways of doing that. In the United States right now, this technology is on hold with alfalfa, and there's senators and congressmen that are trying to write the Secretary of Agriculture saying that if they deregulate GE alfalfa, this will lead to contamination of non-GE alfalfa crops and result in significant economic harm to domestic alfalfa markets in the organic and conventional dairy industry. That's what they're trying to stop this. There's a court case right now, so they're trying to stop this in the United States in their Congress. What will happen? And apparently, I've learned that it's more difficult to control. Alfalfa is more difficult to control because it's a perennial. There's the leafcutter bee can carry the seeds, which can actually go into blueberries, into hybrid canola. It's just it's kind of, you just release the genie out of the bottle, and it's once you do that, it's really hard to control. There's a contamination of wild alfalfa, of forage acres. There's cross-pollination with feral alfalfa. It's just really, according to these folks, if we release GE alfalfa, their markets are finished. And not only their markets, but all those organic farmers that rely on alfalfa currently